Welcome to the Lovely Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam
and Anisha Leaper, just a couple of young millennials who took the leap from dating to married life. We're here to share the journey with you.
Expect candid conversations with us and our guests, covering everything from the first dates to the early years of marriage.
So take the leap with us on the Lovely Podcast.
3, 2, 1, start again.
You guys, oh my goodness.
Episode 5 is a struggle for us
This
because
so
this is now
bad.
the third time that we are recording this.
I can't even take it.
At the time that you will see this, just know that we have recorded this episode now 3 different times.
Yesterday, the camera stopped working. Today, Adam did not turn my microphone on.
It's now on. I just did the mic check. We're good.
I've been sitting here talking for the past 10 minutes, and my microphone has not been on.
So we'll restart. Welcome to the episode. We're going to start off episode 5 with a new segment in addition to the honorable mentions.
I quit. I quit.
We're going to move quick.
Am I allowed to quit?
No.
So I'm putting my 2-week notice.
So we wanted to talk about, what are we going to call this segment? Things that are important to us? Or?
What makes us us?
Sure, we can. Yeah, that's broad enough.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
okay.
That can encompass a lot of things. So what makes us us? One of the things that makes us us is we go to the gym together. And long story short, Anisha has gotten the bug.
Yeah, please just be mindful. I for sure am very sore today. My legs
both are, yes.
Are on fire today. Yes.
Yeah, Anisha has caught the bug for heavy lifting. And now she's also caught the bug for high volume heavy lifting. And she's, in the past 6 months, I think she's really been lifting weight for the past, I would say, a year, 2 years, 2 or 3 years maybe. But in this past 6 months, her dedication and her obsession for wanting to build strength and also recompose her body and all this other stuff and just be healthy and everything has gone through the roof exponentially to the point where today, so she's found this new program, and I didn't think it was going to be this beastly of a program because I haven't done high volume, high reps, high sets, or medium to high volume with heavy weight. I haven't done that type of programming in a while. So my body's not in the right shape for that. Yeah. Or at least my mind's not. My body definitely is, but my mind also is not in the right frame to be let's go crush 8 sets of 15 or 4 sets of 15, stuff like that. So could you go over the stats of what the workout was today to put people into perspective as to, we did glutes yesterday, legs and glute day yesterday, and as to why we're so sore even now, a couple hours after this workout.
My back is not really sore because I did this workout, this exact one last week. He didn't do it last week. He didn't do it last week. I did it last week. So mine isn't as sore, but I'm sure I'll feel it tomorrow when then passengers start asking, "Can you help me lift my bag and overhead band?" I'm like,
I can't go above parallel.
I don't got it in me, chief.
My hands don't go over my head today.
I don't get paid for that. So we started it out with our inchworms. We did 20 reps of inchworms, and Adam was just not understanding that.
That's not a back day warm up, but
that's fine.
In my opinion, anyway.
We did 2 sets of 50 jump rope. So we jumped rope. I have purse.
And
then we went straight into the workout. We did seated cable lat down pull downs, seated cable lat pull downs.
Conventional.
3 sets of 15. Reverse closed grip seated lat pull downs. 3 sets of 15. Then we did pull-ups. 3 sets of 12.
Which is nuts.
Yes.
To do pull-ups in the middle of your workout after you done fried your back like that.
Yeah, we usually do them at the beginning. And then we did the seated machine mid-row. We did 3 sets of 15. I have a vendetta against that machine, so That machine just terrifies me every single time I go over there because I actually dropped a 45-pound weight on my toe trying to get it off for him so that he could work out, and just obliterated my foot.
Didn't have to do a cast, but it was swelling.
It was bad. I couldn't even go to work.
She was in pain.
Yeah, it was bad. Sure. And then we did standing dumbbell reverse flies, 3 sets of 15, and then we did single arm standing dumbbell bent over rows, 3 sets of 12. And then she puts treadmill walk on there, incline walk. However, we just go on the trail because we go early enough that we just come back and take our dog on a walk because that's where he likes to go. So that's what we did today.
Yeah, we do family walks every day. A little exercise for the pup. Well, he ain't a pup, but he's a
puppy. Mm-hmm.
Little exercise for the Build-A-Bear there and for us too. But yeah, just the soreness is, it's a lot. What else makes us us? We shared. Well,
we like sweet.
This is a little sweet treat. It is not anything alcoholic. It's actually ginger ale, and it's the best ginger ale.
Canada Dry. We don't get like a whole can each. We split it. We do half and half. So it doesn't make you feel that bad because you didn't drink a whole can by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yes, we do. I have a really bad sweet tooth.
Yeah.
It's really bad. However, it's not as bad as it used to be.
No.
Because one thing about it, two things for sure. The only reason why we were really going to Dave & Buster's is because of that chocolate cake they had.
Yeah, the chocolate cake was crazy. That's something else that makes us us. But we're gonna do another segment next episode that talks about date ideas, and we'll
talk about my love with the Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, we'll talk about
what happened with that because I just
the debacle.
Anyways, though, so yes, we have tried to record this episode once again. This is our third time's a charm. This one's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the honorable mentions today. Once again, I've mentioned it before. I would love for us to go through and let everybody know how we know specific people that we bring up into this conversation. Just to get you a background on where they came from and how we know them and how they are very beneficial in our lives. Kaylin and Ashanti did come up last episode. They're going to come up again this episode. Kaylin and I went to preschool together. And we went to the same church. His family was very into the choir. He was a drummer, all of that good stuff. And that's how I know him. And me and Ashanti went to middle school together. We met each other when we were like 7. We were on the same dance team, JJ Express, the one and only in Toledo, Ohio. And don't piss me off. Do not.
Crispy.
Shout out to BB. I'm sure he would love that. Wait,
didn't in one of your performances, didn't the girl like?
We always have to. You
had to salute the person.
We have this thing.
Please, can we take this floor or whatever?
No.
Your floor or something like that. You need permission to dance. Yeah.
So we have this thing where since Adam is in the military, cut it out. We have this thing where since Adam is in the military, I just like to randomly salute to him, and it's like the sloppiest thing ever. And it's like
the meme of the person getting saluted.
Yeah, in Home Depot. So like I just do random stuff for like if we're in the store and it's just like an American flag, I'll just hold it over him and just in hopes that he's gonna salute, and then he gets embarrassed. He's like, "Please stop," and he like runs away. I like this.
Yeah.
But that's where that really came from. It's this guy who was singing on what was that?
That was from 2 Chainz'
Here,
song.
hold on. He was singing.
We'll just have to put the video up on Instagram.
No, but I need to listen to it now. Okay. So we listened to this and thought that it was hilarious. So every single time on Veterans Day or anything like that, I just
Peace to all the soldiers that died in
the service. So, and then you just salute after that. So I just salute and just call it a day.
Terrible.
But Yeah, he had somebody randomly come up to him. Well, it was a soldier that came up to you.
Oh my God!
At the airport, and he saluted.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention. So I'm walking through. It had to be what I didn't. I wasn't leaving until like 10 something. Almost 11
it was
o'clock.
Like in the middle of the night that this man is doing this.
And I'm in my uniform, and I walk past him. He's in his uniform. I couldn't see what rank he had on his chest, but because of what he did, I knew he was just straight out of basic training. So he walks past me, and there's, for any of the viewers who are in the military, you know that when you walk past somebody, their walk starts to change, their body starts to change, because you know they're about to give you a hand salute. But here's two things here's what's wrong with that, with what he did. Because he did salute me. However, we were inside of the airport. You don't salute indoors. No branch of the military, at least with what I remember, what I know, nobody salutes indoors. And especially in the Army, it might be different for maybe one random branch of the military out there. But in the Army, we don't salute indoors. So he's walking past me. I can see him, and he starts coming to like attention, like he's marching, and then he renders a hand salute. And he says, "Sir," because he could see on my chest, because I didn't have anything obstructing my chest ring, so he could see that, and he saluted me. I did not salute him back. As a higher ranking person, you don't have to render a hand salute back. It is a custom and courtesy, but I'm not going to salute you back knowing that we're indoors, and that's not supposed to happen.
He called me and was like, "You will never guess what just happened." I said, "I need to cash out that man $10 because the fact that you did that was just amazing." But we got off track. But yes, Kaylin and Ashanti later on found each other. Well, they went to Catholic schools that are in Toledo, but like with the Catholic schools in Toledo, they all end up like hanging out together and stuff like that. And then they ended up dating each other, and then they got married and had a baby. So that is how I know them. And then we need to talk about BB, Bianca, Brianna, and Key. BB and Cece, Brianna, and Key.
Yeah. Before that, with Kaylin and Ashanti, like I didn't really explain that last episode because we were rushing through. I had talked to my now mother-in-law and asked her, like, "Hey, is it disrespectful to ask them to not invite you because you and Ashanti and Elena were very, very close, and you guys called yourself with the battery pack, AAA. So for that to happen, I was like, they're getting married. They've known each other for that long. Like they've known Anisha for that long. They're going to invite her. So I asked her, would it be disrespectful to even ask? And then I think your mom actually asked them to not invite you.
I really want to hear from them. When they get on here, we're going to have to talk to them about that.
We'll ask them about that. But to not invite you, because I had from July, when we shut down the initial idea, which we were going to do in August after the ring would have gotten into my possession. It was probably a few days. It was later that week after the weekend that I was talking to Vashti, because I told her, like, hey, it's not going to happen. And then we came up with the idea, hey, let's do it in October. I looked at my drill schedule because I have to plan everything out through that drill schedule. October 17th was the free day for us to do that, free weekend for us to do that. So I already had that date set in July. They didn't announce them getting married until later, maybe August or something, because they had a pretty quick turnaround.
They did. It was during COVID and stuff like that. I mean, but they knew they knew they were getting married whenever they were getting married. They knew they were getting engaged and stuff like that. Like, they had this planned out. They just had a timeline and they wanted to follow it and stuff like that.
And it seemed pretty fast. So I was like, well, I can't change it. And I was almost going to be devastated if you would have had to go to the wedding and us travel out there. Because then I was like, we can't do it. And all this planning.
But they had a small wedding, so it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to get them on to talk to them, because I'm telling you, there's gonna be just a lot of stories in general. Like just in general. So that'll be great.
And now on to BB, Bianca,
the pack,
Brianna, and Key.
The four pack.
Your what do y'all call each other? Your adopted cousins.
Yes, my adopted cousins. They're not my real cousins, but they're my cousins.
Yeah.
I don't play about them. So, and then Ashley will come into the story momentarily too. We talked about George and Ashley though, but we didn't get into detail yet because Ashley's not in here yet. George is in here, but Ashley is not yet. Because I still don't know. I had to text her one
next
today
episode
like
we actually talk about the second birthday bash,
and then Ashley and George are there. But I met Ashley at my engagement party. That was the first time I ever met Ashley. But
which we could touch on.
We'll talk on that, yeah. But you'll see the relationship with me and Ashley get a little bit closer and stuff like that later on. But let's talk about the little 4-pack right here. BB, Bianca, Brianna, and Key. So BB and Bianca are married.
BB's name is
Brandon. And well, we call him Buford. And then Brianna is Bianca's twin sister.
Yes.
And then Kiara is Brianna and Bianca's older sister.
Yes.
So if you see one, you see all of them. And that's why I just love it, because you're never gonna see just like one by themselves, really. So yes, that is how that is. And BB, Bianca, Brianna, and Key, I got to know all of them our first birthday get together.
Yes, which we'll touch on in this episode. But how I know BB, so I met BB first. So when we were crossing, our schools were very, very close, like very, very closely linked. Our chapter, a little bit of history for their chapter at Pitt, started a lot of the chapters in the area, in the surrounding Pittsburgh area, at those schools. So Cal U, Slippery Rock, well, it was Clarion, Cal U, IUP, in West Virginia. They started those chapters. So into what we are today. So we're very, very close to them. And we came through in spring 16. So I knew BB, and I was always, because I lived like 15 minutes from the University of Pittsburgh and where their Cap House was. If I was home, I was at the Cap House hanging out with them during the school year, and even during the summer, a lot of them would stay over the Cap House just to keep up with it. People would stay out there, so I would always be over there. So we both, BB and I, both met Bianca, or at least I remember meeting Bianca, was at their homecoming at IUP in 2017. Mm-hmm. And one of BB's line brothers was, he said some stuff that the other AKAs on their own yard did not like to hear on the back porch or deck of this apartment that we were all at, having this like after party or whatever. And they were about to jump, like they were about to get him. Like they were about to scrap with him. I mean, he wasn't a small dude by any means, but BB walked out and took him and was like, yo, let's go. Like, we gotta go. Bianca later, after she graduated from IUP, she ended up going to grad school at Pitt. And that's when her and BB started getting together. And that's when I started to know her, because of the times that I would be over there, she would over the house, she would be over the house. So we all just ended up gaining a relationship that way. Brianna ends up, we all knew that was her twin sister, but she ends up crossing AKA on the line that Pitt's AKAs first bring back from years of not being on the yard. They brought them back, and Brianna was on that line. So that's how I met Brianna and Bianca, and that's how I knew BB. I didn't meet Key until you and I met them.
Yeah.
After that.
They're all sweetie pies.
I think that's the last of our honorable mentions.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and just jump in. So once again, like I said, we recorded this yesterday, whatever happened. So give me 1 second. So we're going to start with, we're going back into, I just got back to my nails. So I just got back home from getting my nails done. And I'm in the room. I'm packing my bags because we're doing a staycation. What we used to do in Baltimore was we used to do staycations a lot. We would just go to this, like, just go to a hotel and just chill or whatever. Braxton would go to his babysitter, Miss Sarah, and we would just go chill. So I'm packing my bag, and I was waiting, and then I think we were getting ready to leave. Sorry, I didn't.
Still got that light on. What's wrong with you?
Oh man, if y'all could watch this is hilarious. Yes, so that's what I was doing, and I'm minding my business, not really knowing what's going on. The one thing that was a little bit strange though, I didn't really think anything of it. However, nobody was talking to me. I felt so isolated in like that last couple of days. I was calling people once again. I told y'all I talk to my mom every day. I was calling my girl. She wouldn't answer the phone. She didn't want to talk to me. And then the night before,
she was like rushing you off the phone.
Yes. And then the night before, like I was calling her and she was in the car, but I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, she's just doing a little night drive, you know. But she was acting like she couldn't talk to me. And then she made some excuse and was like, well, you know, the cops are out here. If they catch me on the phone, they'll take me to jail. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, bye. I was like, and then I talked to my cousins, not Bianca, Brianna, and Key, but Diamond and Destiny and Stony, and I would talk to them all the time on Google Duo. Baby, they were not answering my call. And then when I was calling Stony, I was like, hey, everybody, they're all upset with me. What did I do? And she's like, I don't know. I gotta go. Bye. You got 3 kids. I understand that, but you need to make time for me because I'm not understanding like what's happening. So nobody wanted to talk to me. And I was like, well, this is weird. So I was kind of feeling a little bit down. I was a little sad.
Yeah. So what was going on was around in that time, just to give a little context, I guess this could have been an honorable mention, but the planning of how many people were going to be at this event went from maybe 10 to 20 people to like 50 people or so. Like it grew. The list grew pretty big because Anisha's side, like her family, they invited a bunch of people to fly out. So they flew out. Then I brought some of my family. Then we had friends. So it was a lot of people. Everybody that had to traveled in the night before. So originally I had this Airbnb that wasn't too far from the house. And then I was like, oh, we have to change it. So we were doing a lot, like BB and Bianca were helping me plan for this and like sending me peer spaces. And we ended up finding a spot that Brianna's friend it was her apartment complex, and they had this little courtyard, and then they also had a clubhouse room that we could use, and it was pretty cheap. So I was like, okay, let's go with that. With the amount of people that we had, we got catering. We did this up the whole night. So people are trying, because some of the people in your family just can't hold water. And why your mom got off the phone with you so quickly is because
she was going to the store.
I think she was picking up somebody from the airport.
No, she said she was going to Food Lion.
Oh, she was going to Food Lion and then she was going somewhere.
Do we have Food Lion in Baltimore? No. What was that? What was that store that we had?
Giant.
Yes, she was going to the store and she didn't want me to see because she was pulling in.
Well, her GPS.
Her GPS had said something
about a street. Or a road,
and she was like, she didn't want nobody to know.
And she didn't want you to hear that she's in Baltimore because they were just down in the city and not too far. So you would have recognized the streets. So she hurried up and like got off the phone with you because she was afraid that like she messed up and she heard you. But yes, everybody is getting in. I'm still quarterbacking things. The day that Anisha went to go get her nails done, I had, and this will come into the story later, but I went on a final walkthrough it was myself, Dre, and Vashti. We went on a final walkthrough to plan out everything, how it was going to go from where he was going to walk you up and down.
So interesting here in the background.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like we planned this thing to the T where Vashti was going to sit as you come out into the courtyard. So she's behind the door and then swings out from the door and then like captures behind you facing me and the rest of the stuff that was there. Where the marry me letters, block letters that the twins got made, or Key, I think, made them, or they got those made, where those were going to sit, the rose, everything. So then I dropped Dre off to get his car back from the mechanic, and I'm 2 minutes from the house, and I hear a clicking in my engine. And I've heard this before because my previous car had the engine blew because of the same clicking noise. Mm-hmm. Because it used to burn oil, and I didn't get an oil change in a fast enough time before it just messed up the engine. So I started hearing it. It was faint, and I was like, I gotta park this car right now before any more damage is done to it. I park it. I walk a mile and a half up the street to AutoZone to get more oil just to hold me over. And I was trying to look up stuff that I could put into it. I should have bought this one thing that I can see the bottle now, but the mechanic ended up telling me, like, yeah, you should have bought that. That would have helped out. It would have made your engine last at least a little bit longer. But so I kept the car parked because I was like, this weekend, not this weekend, Satan. I got to make sure that this gets done.
It's a scheme Todd set up.
So Anisha gets back, right. Anisha gets back. We take her car to go downtown to the Hotel Indigo that we were staying at. And before we could go in, I had you stay in the car because Ashley, George, and Ronnie were in the hotel trying to check in, trying to get to their room.
And I don't even remember like what I was doing at this point in time because I don't even think I was on TikTok. I didn't get on TikTok until like last year. So I don't know what I was scrolling or what I was looking at because
either Twitter or Instagram.
I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't on Twitter around that time either. I got back on Twitter like last year. Yeah. So I don't know what I was doing because everybody was ignoring me. So I don't know who I was talking to, but I'm just, okay, yeah, sure.
So we get to the hotel. They give me the coast is clear. They're in their rooms getting ready. We get up to the room, and Anisha is just still clueless, and all she's doing is looking up the menu.
That's probably what I was doing in the car.
Yeah, the menu for Kona Grill. Because it changed. They have I wouldn't say seasonal, but it's kind of a seasonal menu. So every couple of months or so,
they'll change it.
They'll change it. So from the time that we told her Kona Grill to the time that we were supposed to go to Kona Grill that night, it had changed. So she's getting ready, doing her makeup in the bathroom, and I'm in the room. And at that point, like, all the planning was done, and it's just now time for execution. Bibi and Bianca knew exactly what to do for people coming in. I gave everybody their numbers, so I was like, don't hit me up. You call them to where to park, when to get where to be. They're going to hide you. Like, they're going to do all this stuff. I'm now sitting in.
And this is the nice Adam that's planning this, because Groomzilla Adam comes out later on, and they're two different people.
That's my favorite topic.
They're two different people.
So I'm just like, a wave of just nervous energy hits me because I was somewhat planning what I was going to say, but I didn't have full time to just kind of sit down with my thoughts and actually write out or plan out what I was going to say and then try to rehearse it. So I'm in the room. I got ready already. I have the TV on so that you couldn't hear me. And I'm just going through, pacing back and forth, figuring out, what am I about to say?
And I'm just in the bathroom watching makeup tutorials, chilling.
I'm like,
or
what
TV
am I?
Or something. I think we probably was watching like Love
You're watching something. Yeah, I'm like, what am I about to say when this camera starts rolling? So we both I don't make us look stupid. Like, what am I about to say? And then we get ready, we start taking pictures, and then Dre texts us like, hey, I'm downstairs, like, come on. So we could go get Mo and we could go to the restaurant.
He said we had to go to Courtney's apartment to go get Mo. And I was like, oh, yay. Because I think I got in the car and I was like, where's Mo at? And he was like, oh, she's at Courtney's apartment. She's getting ready. And so we were like, all right. So we pull up at the apartment, and I get out, and me and Dre and Adam are walking in, and Adam goes, I have to go to the bathroom, and he leaves. Oops, sorry, y'all. He leaves, and then Dre's like, oh, come on, we can go upstairs. We asked Adam, he's like, you know where it's at, right? He's like, just text me. I'll come up there. I just gotta go to the bathroom really bad. And so I didn't think nothing of it because like he always gotta go to the bathroom, so it's nothing weird for me. But then me and Dre, I follow him into the elevator. He takes me up the elevator. We get off on the floor. He starts walking, and I was like, oh, these are some nice apartments. And he's like, I think we're on the wrong floor. And so then he takes me down the elevator, and he's like, in the middle of us going down the elevator, he's like, Mo's pregnant. And I was like, shut up. That is so cute. Is this why we're celebrating? And then he's like, no, this ain't it either. And then he's like, let's just take the stairs. And so then we take the stairs. And then as I get to the stairs, and we go down the stairs, my heart is beating. And I was like, oh my God. Because I just seen flowers. I was like, what is this?
So that's her vantage point up till she sees everything. So we get there, and the plan has been in motion. BB and Bianca have. So the way that this apartment complex, just so people can kind of visualize it, the way it was set up is you walk in, and whatever front desk they had is sitting right there. But when you turn to the left, there's the hallway, the entranceway. There's a staircase off to the right, and then further back you can see it's glass doors and just a glass opening to their clubhouse room, their shared space. If you go up the steps and you look over to the left, you can see a glass window, like a wall or floor to ceiling glass window that shows outside into the courtyard. So the plan was that we were going to walk in. I was going to go to the bathroom. All of the family, everybody that came, was hiding in. They turned the lights off, and there was another little back room kitchenette area in their clubhouse room that everybody was hiding in with all this stuff, like the balloons and all the stuff. They were hiding in there, and they had the lights off. It's still the sun's kind of going down. It's October, and it's around 7:30ish. I wanted it to be sun setting, but it got a little bit too late. So you couldn't see anything in there. But the bathrooms were by that shared space.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. Well, I was going to the bathroom to meet up with BB, who was, I told him, just be in the bathroom just in case Anisha walks by and has to go to the bathroom too. But be in there. I'm going to walk in there to make it authentic looking. And then he was going to give me a mic that was hooked up to Vashti's camera so that the audio could go through the mic. Spoiler alert. The microphone battery, I think, was wrong or something happened. So the only audio it picked up was through the camera, but she ended up putting captions. We'll put the video up on Instagram so that you could see it. Still went off well.
Yeah.
But I was going to get the microphone while Dre was going to take you upstairs to stall for a little bit to look for the room that you guys were going to go get Mo in. And it was supposed to be real quick, so that I walked upstairs and went out of the door and stood in the courtyard. He took you.
6-something.
Oh, that was it. The elevator was closer to the bathrooms, remember?
Mm-hmm.
The elevator was close to the bathroom, so BB was inside of the bathroom so that you wouldn't see him. So you were supposed to take the elevator. I was like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. It's right here. I'll just meet you. Just let me know what floor you're on. So then I went back.
Oh, is that why he took me to the stairs?
Yeah, that's why he took you to the elevator first, and then he took you to the stairs. He was always going to take you to the stairwell to have you come down and come out that way. But I went up that staircase that's on that first floor, and I went out the stairwell that way to go and get in place.
Okay.
So we were fiddling with the mic. It wasn't really working. I got it on, and I was like, all right, let's just go. Because I'm getting, it was only supposed to take a pit stop. It was supposed to be real quick. Dre's texted me and hit me up yo, are you ready? Are you ready? And I called him and I'm like, I'm ready. So he faked with you he was on the phone with Mo or somebody, and he comes down and leads you through. And that's when it opens up and I'm standing there with the little red runner, that
table runner.
that plastic runner. Your favorite flowers as flower petals around, because that's why your mom went to the store. She wanted to get the runner and some other stuff. The flowers around, and then the blocks that had the candles inside that said "Marry Me" on them. And you were shocked.
Yeah, I was like, literally, I was about to turn back around because I was like, I think I'm in the wrong spot. But it was Meech. Meech was at the door. He opened the door for me.
Yeah,
and so I was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh my goodness. And then Adam's just standing there just cheesing. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I think I said it in the video. I was like, are you serious right now? Because I think that's Deja's favorite part. She'd be laughing. I was like, are you serious right now? Is this for real happening?
And she wasn't walking close, like forward.
I was not trying to go over there. I just stood there. I was like, I pulled the Trish. I just froze. I was like, absolutely not. This is not happening to me.
So I went and I grabbed her. I led her over and I put her back to where the window was, that wall to ceiling, the ceiling to floor window area. I put her back to that because as she came down in the stairwell, BB and Bianca brought everybody that flew in, all the families and stuff, brought them up to the stairs onto the landing, and then some people had to stay on the stairs. But they could look out into the courtyard to see me proposing. They just couldn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have been looking at your back and then at me. So I get down, I say what I have to say.
Stop.
And you say yes. And then I was like, okay, well, turn around. I got another surprise for you. And you turned around and it was like a 1-2 punch. She would not stop crying.
I was like bawling. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cry.
She saw her family, my family. She saw like everybody standing there. Just a wave of people standing there.
Yes, I was shook at it.
And then you had the nerve to ask what?
I was like, are we still going to Kona Grill?
Said, absolutely not. We're not going to go now.
So yeah, we had fun. We partied all night. We went to brunch the next day with our families. Then they left, and then the work week started. And what happened, Adam?
So one fateful day during the work week, I am driving down the highway in the fast lane and the clicking just keeps getting louder and louder to the point where I could hear it over the volume in my car on my stereo. And I was just like, this is so annoying. But I'm on the phone with Anisha. It's typically in the mornings, like when we were doing our commutes.
Y'all, we always on the phone.
Yeah, we would be talking on the phone. And I hear it. It like the clicking intervals get faster. And then I hear it pop. And then it just stops. I stop hearing the clicking. And I'm trying to put my foot is still on the gas and nothing is happening. I was like, I said it to Anisha just so calmly. I was like, yeah, my engine just blew.
I was like, oh no.
She's like, are you serious? Oh no. And I was like, yeah, I'm like 15 minutes away from work. Are you able to come and get me? And like, let's figure out like AAA and stuff. So, and she works in the exact opposite direction. So yes. I worked 50 minutes going south to Annapolis.
I worked up the street. 15 minutes up the street.
She worked 15 minutes going
I worked over by J&Mo's house.
Yeah. So very far away distance. So she, got it. She talked to her boss and was like coming to get me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the fast lane. I pull over into the shoulder and I parked, I'm chilling. My door's open. One of my foot's hanging out. I'm calling my boss and my new supervisor, who we'll call Birkenstock because he was the worst person to work with, but I won't put his government out there, but I'll tell you about him. And I'm like, I can't make the meeting, our morning meeting we would do. My car engine just blew. And they were like, Bob is who I called. He's like, okay, I got you. Just let me know what's going on. So a woman pulls off ahead of me, probably, I would say almost 100 yards, maybe a little bit more. And she gets out of her car and she is running back, sprinting towards me. And she's pointing and she's like waving her arms. She's flailing and she's sprinting as fast as she can get. But it's a busy highway in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hear anything. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, what is she doing? She gets to me and she's just like, are you okay, dude? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. She's like, okay, your car's on fire, dude. We gotta go. We gotta go right now. I was like, what do you mean my car's on fire? She's like, we gotta go. Like, get your stuff and let's go. I had drill that weekend coming up. So I had my rucksack and my boots in the back seat of my car, as well as some stuff like my laptop bag in the front seat. Mm-hmm. And I had did my I-9 and forgot to like take my passport back out of my car. ADHD strikes. And so I forgot my passport was in there too. So I just grabbed my boots. She helps me grab some stuff out of the car. And we're walking to her car, and I get in front of mine and I look under the car, and sure enough, there are flames that are starting under the car, under the front end of the car where the engine is. Like, there are flames going. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. So I get on the phone with you. This is shortly. So the flames start taking over the car in the front end of it, and the flames get so high that looking at it head on, you can't see the top of the car. Mm-hmm. So a police officer ended up pulling up. He calls the fire department. He's like, you're so lucky, like, count your blessings and thank this woman. She's a good Samaritan, pulled off and like pulled you out. Like, the car wasn't on fire. I wasn't discombobulated, but I got what he was saying, excuse me, is like, be thankful that somebody pulled off, because I was just sitting in there. I wouldn't have even known that something was happening. Eventually I would have got out to look at the car and see what was going on, and mm-hmm. I would have seen that. But the question is, at what point in time? So God knew what he was doing. But I get on the phone with Anisha. They're putting out the fire in the car, and the fire moved all the way through the glove box, so it torched my passport. And it started moving to the gear shifter, because it was a 6-speed manual transmission car. It started hitting the gear shifter, and it was getting to the seats by the time the fire department got there, and just sprayed the car down.
And what did you say?
I said, it was gnarly. Like, the flames were gnarly.
He literally gonna say that to my face. This is gnarly. I said, stop talking to me.
Because it's a very unique experience that you see yourself in, where your car is up in flames. Like, you see that in the movies. You don't just like see that every day.
He never ceases to amaze me. I was looking in my thing to get our timeline correct, because we forgot something. We forgot Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving was right after that, in November.
So then my car didn't happen.
No, your car did happen, but we did Friendsgiving right after that.
After the car?
Yes, after the car. How did you get the drill?
Remember, Dewan had the rental car discount, so I ended up just getting rental cars until I got my car.
I wanted to look at the timeline with that, but yes, we have Friendsgiving right after.
Who did you do Friendsgiving with?
Wasn't that Meech's house? It was Dre, Mo, Courtney, all of them were there, and then you drove in. It was in DC. Remember?
Oh, I was coming back from drill.
And you had on your uniform still. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
We did Friendsgiving there. But
So yeah, RIP to the Veloster. Something good happened, and then it was just like
boom. Here you go.
So
now we're going into Friendsgiving, November, December. We just do kind of the same thing that we usually would do, which is probably go home. I think we went home.
Yeah.
New Year's, since we couldn't have a party, we had a party the year before, but we just stayed at home and did charcuterie boards and played games.
Yeah.
And then we took Braxton to the dog park, and he had fun at the dog park. Around this time is now where I am leaving State Farm.
Yes.
So I'm out of State Farm. I'm no longer working there. I ended up starting to work at a place called Aerotech, where I was a business analyst there. And I loved Aerotech. I have nothing bad to say about Aerotech. My whole time there was great, besides the time that I got written up. But I loved Aerotech. And I was working from home.
Yep.
I was a stay-at-home dog mom. So
I didn't go back into the office until we moved to Laurel.
Yeah, not until we moved to Laurel. Yeah. So that's where I was. I was working there, and that's actually where I stayed. So nothing really exciting happens with me with my job. I actually stayed there up until we decided to leave from Maryland in general. Mm-hmm. So that's where I was. So I'm in there in January. And then this is when you got called out for the January 5th riot.
So the January 6th riots.
Oh, 6, sorry.
Yeah. So the January
not
6th
J5
riots that happened, and then right around that time too, around the inauguration. So that was right before the inauguration. Right around that time, prior to that, there were also riots going on in Philly, and we had presence and people out there. So my unit was one of the units that got called, as well as a ton of other units. There was a flood of Guard and reservists out in DC for the inauguration, and we didn't know really at the beginning how long we were going to be there. We ended up being there about 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks.
Is that when they were staying in the parking garages? No, that was
people were not. That was a
Oh, that was fake news. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring a rumor.
I mean,
that's how rumors start.
People took naps in the parking garages because they were on duty during that time. But we had every hotel within, I want to say, within DC's radius.
Sorry, I started rumors.
We had like every hotel blocked off. So, but either way, we were there for a while. We didn't know how long we were going to be there and everything like that. So the mission of the Guard, the National Guard, is to protect the homeland from like natural disasters and other things, So we went and did that. And so I'm gone. Right after we were right after we were going to get back, I was already slated to go to Captain's Career Course for 2 weeks, and that was going to be virtual, so I was at home for that. But that means I'm going to be gone about a month and a half from work. I didn't have any time in between. Literally, like when I got back that Monday, like when I got back that weekend, that Monday, I was going into Captain's Career Course. So I mentioned to you all that I had this supervisor called Birkenstocks. He was so I was working with a company. They were a recruitment firm, and we did IT staffing and recruiting. So it was a little bit salesy, or a little bit of a sales environment, but just in a different way. And he was the golden boy of our division because he has been doing that. He was with them since he got out of college, and he took an account and really blew up the amount of money that they were getting out of this account. That was one of their first accounts. And he was driving the business in the area of like government contracting because of this account and all this other stuff. So the owners couldn't find they at first found somebody who was an established manager to come in and take over our division, while Bob did something else because he didn't want to like lead the division anymore. But that guy never started, and I guess there was some discrepancy in negotiating.
I remember that.
Stuff. So he didn't start, and they promote Birkenstocks into it. So I was a little weary about it because I've been in the military as an officer, so I see how that works and how that is with young leaders, especially people who are just really good performers that turn into leaders. That usually doesn't work out. And in this case, it didn't. So he made life for all of us, just unbearable to work at. This like toxic working environment. He was micromanaging, just all the typical new not being a leader, not being prepared stuff. That's what he was doing. The environment sucked to be in. He lost 3 good people, and our team wasn't that big. He ran 3 people out of the door in his first year. I was one of those 3, and then after I left, there were like 2 more people that left because of him. So they ended up, afterwards, after I left, they ended up moving him. But I get back from Captain's Career Course. I get back from doing the riots, and he's asking me questions. I'm thinking he's trying to relate and asking me like, how I'm adjusting to being back and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get back in the groove. Like I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to work things out and just get back up to speed because I've been gone for like a month and a half. I'm trying to get back up to speed. It's sales. Like it's a sales environment. You got to move fast. And he used that against me and ended up saying a very discriminatory comment that just raised a very big red flag to where he threatened my full-time status of being at work and saying, well, you know, you've basically been part-time for the last like couple months or so. You know, you've been part-time most of this year because I went and did the COVID orders and he took up his position during that time. So, you know, if, you know, you could just go part-time. So I was like, oh, with his influence, with his pull in the company, I don't know, like the leaders keep backing this guy. I don't know if he goes and tells them like, hey, we might as well just make him part-time. That's the move I'm making. That
he was a Jack A word.
Because he demoted, as he got into that position, he demoted one of the guys that ended up leaving, demoted him and tried to like make it seem like in the spirit of us reorganizing that this was a good move. You moved him from a business development guy to a lead recruiter, which he was already a recruiter. Well, they promoted him and then the pandemic happened. Like that's not really his, you can't blame that on him. But he got demoted, so I'm like, what? He could do the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Luckily, the director of HR, Sandra, she's our girl. She's also a vet. And
she's also a Zeta.
Veteran, and she's also a Zeta. And I told her about this. I documented everything. I was talking to my leadership in the military. I almost went as far as talking to a Army lawyer, a JAG. I almost tried to get in contact with anybody at the office for
we almost came up on a check.
Sarah. Yeah.
A Trump check.
I talked to her about it and she said he just left the company liable for a federal lawsuit. So we're gonna talk to him about this. So we ended up talking to him like, yo, what you said was extremely discriminatory.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that again. The owners were not happy with him because they've never discriminated against me being in the military. They loved that I was in the military. They kept paying my salary while I was away. But as soon as he stepped up in the position, he stopped paying my salary while I would go and do military events.
We could have been rich.
I wouldn't know about rich, but it's just like we had to start doing some like penny pinching. But yeah, if he would have, yeah, we could. If I would have got you Sarah involved, it would have been
ugly.
It would have been ugly. So yeah, that's Birkenstocks. I mean, he even would get pissed off at me because when I didn't have a car, I had to go to Diego's house. And Diego lived in the city. He's a colleague.
Drop him off over at Diego's house.
No. I would. Well, some mornings you could, but most
when
of the time,
I started working at Aerotech, I would.
Yes,
but when most I was at State Farm, I couldn't.
Yeah, most of the time I would Uber in the mornings to get to Diego's house before like let's call it 7 a.m. I'd be there for 5 or 10 minutes while he's finishing getting ready. Then we drive to work together. Then we would drive back. He would either drive back to his house and you would pick me up there, or he would drive to the gym.
And I'd have to pick him up.
Yeah.
So we did that. That was our routine. But then when he was getting his money from the military, he ended up getting a car. So you got your car.
Yeah, because he was rushing me, and I'm like, dude, the insurance company still has to go through the rest of this. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I gave them everything I got. It takes time. Like, you're trying to rush me to rush the insurance company.
I hope he's living a good life.
I don't know. I blocked him on LinkedIn, so that's how petty I am. I don't block people on LinkedIn, but I blocked him on LinkedIn.
He was really a mess. So,
terrible person. Well, as far as business goes.
But you made it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You have a story to tell. So you got your car, and now we're moving into February. So we ended up actually going to Kona Grill for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I had to.
We did a staycation.
We had to spin the block on that. I had to redeem myself because she really, really wanted to go to Kona Grill.
I just wanted to see what it was like, but it was good.
It was a vibe. Mm-hmm. But then it kind of let us down.
We went with BB and Bianca.
That was New Year's, like the next year.
You remember? And I was sick because I just get the COVID. I had just got the shot.
Oh yeah, the shot.
And I was done.
Yeah, you were.
I was done.
But
so
it just wasn't that good.
That's
all
good that day.
mention.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
So now we're gonna go into. So around this time was the same time that my dear old dad, fell at work. So most people don't know, but I am the baby girl of the family. I'm the only daughter, and I'm the baby. And me and my dad are tight.
Thick as thieves.
Yes, that is my guy. So, my dad retired from the state patrol and immediately went back into working.
Can't keep him down.
Yeah, you couldn't keep him down. We've always had this joke that he was going to be a Walmart greeter because he spends most of his days at Walmart. But he did not become a Walmart greeter. He actually went back to the force. So he's a police officer right now. And the job that he is at right now is where he did get hurt. He happened to be walking somewhere, and I think he tripped over the sidewalk or something like that.
I think it was icy, wasn't it? Wasn't it still icy around?
Something, but they seen the video, and he fell once, and he fell on his leg, and then he fell a second time going back in the same spot, and he fell on the other leg. So both of his legs were actually really messed up, and I just saw a picture of it. I'll have to post it when we talk about it. But he ended up having to get knee surgery on both legs because he ended up like tearing his ACL in both legs or something like that. And the doctor actually did a double surgery at the same time. So it was actually really nuts. So he was down bad from that. And my mom actually works in the healthcare field. She's a phlebotomist. And up until this point, I think everybody was fine. Everybody was careful. And my mom ended up getting COVID at work. And she tried her best to keep it away. I'm trying to keep it in. And she gave it to my dad, and my dad had COVID, and my dad does have underlying issues, so that was a little bit scarier to deal with. At the time, it's just my parents in the house, I think, and we're gone. My brother's gone. My oldest brother, I think he was gone. And so it's just them two in the house. And I got a call the one day from my mom, and she was like, "Hey, we had to rush your dad to the hospital." And I was like, "Well, what's going on?" And it was because he had COVID. He was actually fighting it really well at home, and it got too bad, and they had to send him to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry like I did yesterday because that was the first time that I really talked about it since that actually happened. And I was boohoo crying when we were recording, but we didn't record, so you didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it again because I am paranoid.
Okay, good. So, like I said, I'm not gonna boohoo cry. I did yesterday. But I almost lost my dad.
It was, yeah, he was on what, 100% oxygen for a point in time. Yeah.
And I can never, ever, 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 I can't relate to my friends who have lost a parent. I know my friend Ashley has lost her mother recently, more recent, and Brene also has lost a parent, her father. And I can't relate to it. I can just hurt with them and understand and kind of be there for them because I know that that is hard. Getting that close to something like that was devastating for me. My mom had to end up signing a DNR.
She was fighting a good fight with them, and they were like, this might be a possibility.
The only thing that makes me cry even more, and I didn't say this yesterday, I'm saying it today, is the fact of thinking that my dad almost was not able to walk me down the aisle.
Yeah.
That's it.
We said come January, we were going to start actually planning the wedding and give ourselves some time. And then that happened.
Yep.
And it was like,
everything had to stop.
Oh, yeah.
I was asking my mom every day, do you want me to come down there? Do you want me to come sit with you and stuff like that? My mom has never slept in the bed by herself unless she goes on a vacation, or he would go to like his little his like training for the police, like the police force. He would do that, and when he was back the next night. Mm-hmm. So knowing that she was in the house by herself was just like one of those things where that was just rough. But he's fine today. He is great. He is living his life.
Yep.
His dude is here, obviously. But we did end up going down there. My dad is very hard headed. He's one of those that he can't sit down. He literally cannot sit down. Like I said, when we go on vacations, he's up at 6 a.m. and he's like, "Hey, I already talked to the people at the front desk. They told me where we should go eat. Y'all need to get up. Let's get up. Let's get up." Like, sir.
Or didn't he try to, when he was recovering, take the trash out?
No, I don't even know what he was trying to do. He was trying to do something, and he fell. Garage, yeah. He fell in the garage, and he was the only one at home. He had to drag himself from in the garage all the way back to the front room, and we had cameras in the house. And so my mom was like, "Well, I thought it was kind of strange that you weren't in the living room." And I guess he told her that he was in the bathroom or something like that at that time. No, he was stuck in the garage. He slipped on poop. You remember? He slipped on Oreo's poop. Yes, yeah. He slipped on my brother's dog's poop, and that's what happened. He fell, and then he had to drag himself into the living room. So my dad is very he's very interesting. But yes, when we did go visit and he was not there, Braxton just sat kind of by the chair the whole time, the chair that my dad sits in. So he missed this dude. But enough with the sappy stuff. So let's see, where are we at next? So we should be around, I did start therapy.
Yeah, you started your own therapy.
We started therapy.
We were still doing
and Braxton's birthday. Braxton's
with Dion.
Third birthday.
Braxton's birthday.
His birthday passed, yeah. And then yes, I did do therapy. I started my own therapy. I was battling some really crazy stuff, y'all. This crazy thing called anxiety, and it was so bad. I don't claim it on my spirit today. But however, that was some of the worst. That was just so bad. It was especially during COVID because we were just stuck in the house the whole time and I had nothing else to do. I was drinking caramel macchiatos from Starbucks like almost every day, and that was like making my anxiety worse. And I couldn't figure it out why. And then I told Dion, and I was like, "Yeah, well, this is what I drink." She's like, "Well, that's your problem." And I was like, "Oh, is it?" But I actually talked to Pastor. Pastor is my older cousin. She's in my family. She also married us. And I had some biblical counseling with Pastor, with just in general, and it really helped me. Some scriptures to read and some prayers to pray. And yeah, like it was so bad, y'all. I couldn't go to movie theaters and just sit in the movie theaters. It was loud. Like my brain was loud. My thoughts were loud. Everything, it just was too much. And I was just thinking the worst. So that just was so bad. However,
she persevered.
I did. But now we get into the fun stuff.
Our first birthday bash.
Wait.
Yeah, right?
No, boo-boo. No. Wedding planning. We started wedding planning. March, we went to go look at the venue.
Oh, yeah. How did we forget that? So, yes, we go and look at the venue. I think around that time you had dreams of like when our date was going to be, and we had solidified the date.
I started ordering stuff. I started ordering the boxes for the bridesmaids and solidifying who was going to be in our wedding. We sat down and actually started thinking about stuff like that.
We really had the venue.
Well, we looked at a few. Because you have to remember, y'all, I was working at home, so I could do whatever I wanted to at that point in time.
Well, we were looking at a lot of the reviews, a lot of the stuff online. So the venue we ended up going with, shout out to Love Place in
Akron,
Ohio. The venue we ended up going with, we had seen their, like, all the stuff about them. We were pretty much going to go with them. Mm-hmm. So
we seen a bunch of different places, but that one was just like, it just stuck out to us. So we decided to go with that. But yes, we were putting together our gift boxes, our bridal proposal boxes, and stuff like that around this time too. And we were solidifying our dream team.
Now, Bridezilla doesn't come out just
Groomzilla.
Groomzilla.
I was not a Bridezilla.
She was not a Bridezilla. The problem. Groomzilla doesn't come out until next episode because we gave ourselves a year and a half to plan our wedding out. So I took a conservative approach. to let Anisha really drive a lot of the decisions and get really deep into the planning. I just wanted to be there for keeping her calm, cool, collected, figuring out decisions that we both wanted to make.
Sorry, y'all. I'm going through my timeline. I'm not ignoring.
Yeah, letting her kind of lead the team, and then I would just, like a board of directors or advisors, like I would just sit with her and we'd talk more higher level stuff and all that stuff. So needless to say, that ran out at a point in time closer to the wedding, and the groomzilla came out. But after we had picked the venue, put money down on it,
so the next event that we went to was Brianna and Bianca's birthday party. That was May 1st. And then after that, we had Dre and Mo's baby shower. And that was May 15th. And we're still in the gym pretty heavy. We're lifting and stuff because we was like, yeah, let's go ahead and get snatched for this wedding. And then it was Cortez's birthday / graduation party.
Oh, in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah. Oof. He did the
Rock Nation brunch, and
I gotta give it to. I mean, he pulled it off at the end, but
he had so much going on. And we'll have to get him on here so he can talk about that because he had a lot going on. Yeah. So we did that. We went to Pittsburgh, and we actually gave. What's this? George had proposed to Ashley. We skipped over that.
So they did that in December of the same year that I proposed in October.
Our engagement dates aren't far apart, and then our wedding dates are not far apart.
George proposes. This is in between Christmas to New Year's of 2020?
Yes, 2020.
Is it 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Yeah. So he proposes in between Christmas and New Year's of the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a whole Zoom. Well, they did a thing, but
it was like he had her on a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, we were on Zoom and we got to see what happened and her be happy and them kissing and all this stuff. So
kissing all this stuff.
Our wedding dates are, close as well. So we got married in June.
We forgot to talk about when you got COVID.
Oh, we'll get there. That'll be an honorable mention story.
Sicko.
We got married in June, and they got married in September of the same year.
Yes.
So, again, we were both, all four of us were planning a wedding
at the same time. So in Pittsburgh, that's when George bought the groomsmen boxes for Adam and BB.
Yeah.
I was not at Ashley's wedding, and Ashley was not in our wedding because at the time we did not know each other. We met each other. We were not as close. Yeah, we were not close like we are today.
Y'all got closer during wedding planning season for both of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because we would go to Pittsburgh. We went to Pittsburgh pretty routinely during that time, that year and a half. And we would go to the hookah lounge with them. We would go to their house. We would chill with them, talk about everything that was going on. Even during the weeks, you and Ashley would be on speed dial talking to each other. Like, this is what's happening with us. Our stuff, this is what happened. I'm so stressed out.
That's my girl. Yeah. Yes. And also to mention during this time, so yes, like what I said, we're still working out. I actually started jujitsu.
Oh yeah, she came over to the dark
side. I came to the dark side, and we started jujitsu together.
Doing it together.
So I was doing that, and then we get to the most disgusting time of the year, cicada season.
Cicada season. Do we want to talk about that now, or wrap this up and talk about that next episode?
I guess we could kind of talk about it a little bit, because cicada season is the same time that we did our engagement pictures. And poor Adam was sick as a dog.
It was hot outside. This was around June?
This was not. He didn't have COVID. He was just sick.
I had a very high fever. At least once a year going into the summer, I get a high fever sickness. It happens at least once a year when the season changes. Like I already had it this year.
He had it this year already.
and it lasts a couple of days. Usually, I just sweat it out. Like I bundle up, I sweat it out in a night or so, and I'm good halfway through the next day. But I was down for the count. I think it just had hit me.
Yeah.
It was hot outside. It had rained earlier, and then it got super.
And our pictures were supposed to be outside. You remember, we were supposed to go somewhere else. We were supposed to go to this marketplace. Shout out to our photographer. I'll have to link him in. He did our pictures.
Fire.
I was like, hey, it looks like it's about to rain. Like it's about to rain right now. And I was like, what do you want to do? Because I had just got my hair so pressed and I was not about to get it wet.
Right.
And I was like, no, we had like formal attire and we were like, we need to figure this out. And so my parents, when they used to go down to Baltimore, they used to stay at this hotel down
the Royal
Sonesta. And
right there by the Inner Harbor.
So they used to stay there, and we remembered that it was just like beautiful. And so he was like, hey, I know somebody that works there. Let's see if we can take pictures there. And I was like, sure. So that's where we were getting ready to go. But I had to converse with this man. I was outside on the porch. Once again, remember, we had neighbors next to us. It was a family, a mom and dad, and they had 3 kids. Okay. One boy was probably like 5. The next one was probably like 3. And then they had a baby.
Yep.
So,
infant baby.
Adam is upstairs somewhere. I don't know what he was doing because I don't even remember. Was Braxton with us? Was he still there? I don't remember. But Adam was upstairs minding his business, and I'm standing on the porch, and the little 3-year-old comes outside, and y'all, and I'm not even trying to be funny, they will open up their door.
It did not smell good.
It was bad.
Whatever they were cooking was like, it had to be like some cabbage type recipes.
It was crazy. It smelled crazy every time they opened up the door.
Crazy.
But yes, the little boy pushes the door open, and I'm standing on the porch, and he's standing there, and he stares at me, and I was like, I like your shoes. He had like little Mickey Mouse shoes. They was like little light up shoes, and I was like, I like your shoes, and he looked at me. He goes, cicadas? And I was like, oh no, sweetie, I don't know if there's any cicadas. He goes, yes. And then he just runs back in the house. And I was like, these cicadas are terrorizing people, and it's really bad. This little boy is scared to walk outside.
The cicadas were so bad. It was,
they would just fly on you.
It was a once in like a generation or whatever cicada type of thing.
And they're here in Illinois, but
they're not as bad.
We don't have them bad out here. But when I go to the airport, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah, like these cicadas are very dumb. They fly everywhere.
They're blind.
They're blind.
So they just go
dive bomb.
And they just hit on you, and they just stay there. And like they're just ugh.
Like we would walk outside to take Braxton to the bathroom, and in the grass you could hear the crunching because they're exoskeletons. But they would like come up out of the grass. They come out of trees. They fly everywhere. It was for a solid like month.
It was so
to 2
bad.
months. You would have to like go outside
and
in
run
the heat with a jacket on
and run
over your head, running to your car, get in your car. I think there's one picture.
I have a picture, yes, and there's a picture of me and Braxton. There's one in the ceiling
on your sunroof, yes. Like the inside of your sunroof. A cicada had gotten in there and was looking at the camera while you were looking at the camera with Braxton.
Disturbed.
And you sent it to me, and I said, "Hey, you got a little friend there. You got a cicada." She was freaking out.
I was like, ew.
Like,
so yeah,
it was like your car would look like a battle scene because you're just getting hit with cicadas and you have to wash it off. Like it was terrible. But cicada season
was bad.
Was nuts.
So we'll go a little bit further into our picture day because Meech comes back into the story for our engagement pictures. He's such a gem. So we'll talk about that on the next episode.
And our birthday bash.
Yes, well, all that's going to be in there. We're going to be moving to Laurel in this next episode. He's going to be changing his job. I went hybrid, and we're going to talk about the engagement pictures. And then we're going to get into our new apartment with our little friend Kyrie that lives next door.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that. And we'll discuss that in episode 6.
So stay tuned. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at, the Love Leap Podcast on Instagram. To email us at loveleappodcast@gmail.com for, anything, anything you want to tell us, comments, keep it PG, keep it nice. But anything you want us to cover, you want us to talk about, things you want some clarity on, we'd love to get some listener letters from you all.
Absolutely.
To start going over that stuff. So let us know. We'll post some pictures and videos of what we were going through at that time on our Instagram, as we do after every episode. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that. And until then, we'll see you in episode 6. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.